At this point in our ceremony, we turn to our honorary award. As you will shortly hear, honorary awards celebrate the lifetime achievements of individuals who are outstanding in their field of endeavor and who, through their determination and their success, offer those of you receiving awards today role models for the next chapter in your life. It is with great pleasure to invite Dr. Annette Tunariu to the lectern to read the citation for today's honorary presentation. Annette.
My Lord, Chancellor, Board of Governors, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted and honored to be delivering the citation for the conferment on an honorary doctorate of psychology upon Jacqui Dillon. Jacqui Dillon has turned her traumatic experience of childhood abuse into a vocation as mental health activist. She's a respected campaigner, writer, international speaker, and trainer, specializing in hearing voices, psychosis, dissociation, trauma, child abuse, healing, and recovery. Jacqui was born and bred in East London, where she continues to live. Her experiences of surviving severe childhood abuse from an early age and her subsequent experiences of using psychiatric services intimately inform her inspiring work. Jacqui says, "When I was being diagnosed and I told the psychiatrist about my abuse, he said, well, we have a lot of people who come in here and say these kind of things. And when we call in their family, what we discover is that it's just a symptom of their psychosis." Jacqui adds, "What drives me and my work is the outrage at how myself and others have been and continue to be treated by the mental health system. That and the fact that even if you are coming from a humble or difficult circumstances and you have experienced trauma and adversity, it is possible, with the right kind of support, to overcome bad experiences and to thrive. We are more than the bad things that have happened to us," Jacqui adds. Jacqui has worked within the mental health services for more than 18 years in a variety of settings, including community, acute and secure settings, colleges and university, but is perhaps best known as one of the leading lights of the international Hearing Voices movement. Jacqui says, "I see this as a civil rights movement. A lot of the strategies that we use have been informed and inspired by the Black and gay civil rights movements. Jacqui is part of a collective voice, demanding a radical shift in the way we make sense of and respond to experiences currently defined as psychiatric illnesses. Jacqui refuses to even use the label schizophrenia, preferring instead to frame symptoms as understandable reactions to trauma. It provides an empowering self-help alternative to the traditional medical approach to understanding and treating human distress. Jacqui has tirelessly been at the front of this movement, having been the chair of the Hearing Voices Network in UK for more than a decade." Jacqui says, "I think we've made tremendous strides, yet we still have a long way to go. 30 years ago, there were only 2 or 3 groups in the UK. Now there are over 200 groups in the UK, with Hearing Voices groups located in prisons, secure and hospital settings, and international networks in 33 countries across 5 continents. This is an incredible achievement for a grassroots movement. 20 years ago, the idea that trauma could cause psychosis would have been laughed at. Now it is indisputable." Despite leaving school with 3 O levels, Jacqui has established herself as an expert in the field of mental health, co-authoring books and numerous papers, and regularly delivering keynote addresses at international conferences. There has been a close connection between Jacqui and the University of East London School of Psychology for many, many years, Jacqui being an honorary lecturer in clinical psychology, and indeed we're looking forward to a public lecture from Jacqui to celebrate today's event and the ideas that inspired her. Alongside her work, Jacqui enjoys swimming, dancing, laughing, and spending time with the people she loves, especially with her 2 daughters. In closing her notes, Jacqui says, even though my work has come out of a lot of suffering, every day I try and I have a good laugh. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present Jacqui Dillon to receive the degree of Honorary Doctor of Psychology, Honorary Causa.
Biggest reception. Well done, Jacqui, already. So, Jacqui Dillon, on behalf of the Academic Board of the University of East London, it gives me the greatest pleasure, by the authority vested in me, to confer upon you the Honorary Doctorate of Psychology, Honoris Causa. It's a great pleasure.
It's such an honour and a privilege to be here. I must say, though, the only way you'd ever get me out in public wearing a hat like this is to get an honorary doctorate. So I hope you will feel quite honoured. As you've heard, I was not afforded the privilege of a university education because of my very difficult circumstances in which I grew up. And as a kid who was told constantly how stupid she was, but knew how smart I was, part of my journey has been coming to terms with the fact that I didn't take the traditional route. I didn't do my GCSEs, my A-levels. So to end up here today as somebody who left school with very formal education, has worked tirelessly to transform the terrible things that happened to me into a force for good, both for myself and other people. This actually feels like a really moving and a great honour, actually. We are more than the bad things that have happened to us. I know that I'm not the only person in this room that will have experienced abuse, trauma, adversity, discrimination, racism, different forms of oppression. But we are more than the bad things that have happened to us. One of the key things that's been really central to me in my work is the idea that the personal is political. And this is something I want you to take out into the world with you. That everything you do is happening within a political system that is designed to maintain the status quo and to keep the power in the hands of the privileged. Use your privilege to help those less fortunate than you. Use your power and your influence for the greater good of humanity. Have integrity. Do the right thing, even when nobody's looking. Most importantly, be kind. Surround yourself with allies, comrades, people who believe in you, people who are good for you. Create community. The University of East London has been a long-time supporter of my work. During my most difficult times, I was unable to leave my house, and then slowly but surely I got back into the world through voluntary work and eventually got my first paid job in mental health. And after I'd been working for a few years, I was invited by Dr. David Harper, who still works at UEL, to come and give my first ever lecture at university. And I remember worrying about it for weeks on end. But it felt like a huge privilege, because what was being acknowledged is that my lived experiences of surviving horrific trauma and being able to transform that both for myself and with other people was being recognised as expertise in and of itself. So UEL, to my mind, has always been a very progressive university. It was the first place that ever gave me my first university gig, so for that I'm enormously grateful. I'd like to acknowledge the the work of Professor Mary Boyle. She was somebody who was here for many, many years, and her influence still lives on. I still call her Queen Mary because she's wicked. I'd also like to acknowledge the work of Professor Mark Rapley, the late Mark Rapley, who again I co-edited a book with and had a huge influence on me, and I think on the radical and highly regarded clinical psychology doctorate at University of East London. I'd also like to thank Pippa Dell, who no longer is with UEL, and I'd like to make special thanks to Professor John Reid. Professor John Reid is renowned internationally as one of the people who has made this incredibly important link between people's early traumatic experiences and the later development of things like psychosis. So I don't know if you realise how lucky you are to have people like David Harper, Namisha Patel and John Reid in your university, because these are people who are, in our field of mental health, are considered dons. So you are very lucky to have them amongst your ranks. I would like to big up the Hackney Massive. I'm a Hackney girl, Hackney born and bred. And when I met Jeff today and he told me he was from Hackney, I was like, oh, the best people are from Hackney, man. So big up to the Hackney Massive. I'd like to thank, I have so many friends and allies, comrades, supporters, both academics, people in more humble positions, but many, many people who've helped me to get where I am today. I'm very lucky, I'm very loved, and I've got some wonderful friends, some of whom are here today. I'd like to give special thanks to my dearest friend, Martin O'Casserly, who has seen me through my worst days, has believed in me and loved me through the hardest times. And finally, I would like to dedicate this award to my beautiful daughters who have tolerated having a mad mum, who is passionate about her work, who is idiosyncratic, eccentric, quite a laugh, and have put up with me being busy writing papers, takeaways, lots of ranting, and who are enormously proud of me, and they have been my greatest teachers. So thank you, my darlings. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations, Jacqui.